is global level, goals, and under, we had, nationalized targets and indicators. We are a lot different. You can see that, we have actually 112 targets, and we have 178 indicators from 2032. This is the whole, actually, the results of all, process. We have, sectors, then we have all the goals divided to the sectors, then we have our national targets, and we have our national indicators there. So, since, I have very short time, so let me just jump, a few slides, because I have very lengthy. The data availability in Afghanistan, we have 86% of data available for the indicators, and only 40% of indicators, they don't have baselines or accurate or reliable data. I'm so sorry that I don't know how it doesn't work properly. Okay, so alignment. In alignment, we aligned all the NPPs or national priority programs, and also Afghanistan National Peace and Development Framework, which is the main strategy for the country's strategic paper, which until 2021. And we have aligned SDGs with those actually NPPs or national priority programs, and also the national plan. And this is the methodology that we have done all those NPPs or national priority programs. You can see at the right, the targets, and also the target that we have aligned with the NPPs and also with the NPDEF. Here also the percentage that alignment of each goals with our national priority programs in the country. The key achievements, we actually, the flow that, how we get, information. We actually built a Curie Center in Afghanistan, so we are receiving information, and we are recording all in the database, in the system, and people, can use it. So our main achievements are Afghanistan, actually, national development strategy, the national one, and also we have alignment framework, for the country. So these are you can see the pictures. I don't know if that's not clear, but it seems, here, on TV, it's very clear. So I don't know how to, okay. So anyway.
I think automatically it knows that,
So I reached to the recommendations and also the, so, okay, can you give me, just what, okay, 1 more minute. Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, the key challenges, we have here are, technical and actually professional capacity, and financial financing, SDGs, targets, because, they are very ambitious. And we have, conflict and security, which is, a big challenge in the country. And we have the technology and skills, which are, missing in the country. So also realistic and accurate data. So this is a big challenge in the country. So the recommendations I have is, strong partnership, actually. Regional cooperation is required. And also knowledge and technology transfer to our country. And also financial and technical support of the international and donors, and also regional the countries, and capacity building, for the people in Afghanistan. Thank you so much.
Let us give him a big hand. I think. Thank you very much. Despite some problem with the PowerPoints, I think you have rightly highlighted. I think we'll have more time when there is a question and answer, so that you can elaborate some of the issues that you would like to take up later on. But you have rightly, focused on the nationalization, localization, integration, and then of course many of the challenges as well as the recommendations that you have put forward. I thank you very much for your presentation. Now I would like to move on to the next panelist, Mr. Mahmood Mizanur Rahman, Deputy Secretary, ERD, Minister of Finance, Bangladesh.
Mr. Moderator, His Excellency Gyan Chandra Acharya, Excellencies, distinguished members of the country delegations, distinguished members of the civil society organizations, academics, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. At the outset, we express our very sincere appreciation to the UNESCAF South and Southwest Asia Office for the invitation to this forum on SDGs. We also appreciate the collaboration and support of the Government of India in general and Niti Aayog and RIS in particular for hosting this important meeting. It made its repeated mentioning that the adoption of MDGs was a watershed moment in the human history for the whole international community joined for the first time together to steer and support a global package for development of the poor people of the world. MDGs were indeed turning points. Despite constraints and mixed results, MDGs successfully contributed to sustain a strong global momentum for more comprehensive development across the world. Building on the success and lessons learned of the MDG regime, the international community again endorsed the SDGs as a global development trajectory for all countries and people of the world. The 5 Ps of the SDGs have successfully encapsulated the architecture of a human well-being centric and nature supportive development model. Mr. Moderator, as we stock take here the country level progress in the region in regards to SDG implementation, it is important to take the opportunity to highlight the fact that Bangladesh was able to make tremendous progress during MDGs in areas of poverty alleviation, food security, primary school enrollment, gender parity in primary and secondary level education, infant and under 5 mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, immunization coverage, and reduction of communicable diseases. Bangladesh is now considered one of the emerging economies of the world. Building on the MDGs achievement, Bangladesh is strongly committed to SDGs, and accordingly the country has adopted coherent policy and institutional approach and strategies. SDGs are supported by different strategic policy documents, such as the current 7 5-year plan, which is the principal development strategy of the country, a national sustainable development strategy, a national plan for disaster management, so on and so forth. Recently, we have adopted a national delta plan, which is almost for 100 years. Alongside this policy support, the government has created dedicated institutions to steer SDG implementation. The Office of the Chief Coordinator SDG Affairs at the Prime Minister's Office is dedicatedly working to monitor SDG implementation in the country. Secretaries of different strategic ministries are members of the Interministerial Committee on SDGs Implementation and Monitoring, which is headed by the Chief Coordinator. The Interministerial Committee also involves the civil society organizations, private sector representatives, academics, in order to make all our efforts inclusive and partnership-based. Mr. Moderator, in this August gathering, it is important to share the practical progress on SDGs implementation in Bangladesh, apart from policy document and institutional arrangements. As a first step, the government mapped the roles and responsibilities of each ministry and division against SDG targets and the SDG targets and the indicators. And the responsibilities and the SDG targets have been aligned with the National Development Plan. Ministries and divisions have been identified as lead, co-lead, and associate of the goals and targets. Data would play an important role in tracking progress of implementation, and accordingly, a data gap analysis has been done, and follow-up actions are underway to address data gap constraints. On the top, the government has developed a national action plan for SDG implementation. Another important progress is that a financial analysis for SDGs implementation has been done, and it projected that $928.48 billion would be required as additional finance to implement SDGs in Bangladesh. In other words, over $66 billion annually we will need. Bangladesh has been the first round VNR country as it participated in the 2017 review. This July, the government organized a national conference on SDGs to stocktake the progress. Government has also undertaken 17 special initiatives, popularly known as the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina Initiative, to support SDG implementation in the country. M&E framework for SDGs is another important progress. In order to assess the progress of implementation, a web-based SDG tracker has been established. This is a publicly accessible web portal so that the general people can also monitor the progress of the implementation. Mr. Moderator, Bangladesh has been pursuing an inclusive development trajectory that aims to ensure the benefits of the last mile people. The country is strongly committed to the core values of SDGs, that leaving no one behind, and as such, it maintains the whole of the society approach in all its development interventions. Civil society organizations, private sector, and other non-state state actors are strong partners of the government, ensuring a collaborative approach to SDG implementation in Bangladesh. Moving forward, we all agree that despite global commitments, all countries are exposed to several constraints to SDG implementation. Financing and national capacity would be the key issues that warrant serious attention of the international community. For Bangladesh, private sector is expected to play a pivotal role in this long journey. The government is creating opportunities for the private sector investment, particularly through establishing 100 economic zones countrywide and high-tech parks, several high-tech parks. However, we need a strong partnership between different development partners and private sector to garner the additional resources that we will require for SDG implementation. While we understand the challenges stemming from our domestic front, it is more important to look at the current global regime. It seems now that the current global regime is faltering to deliver on the great promises. Since this forum is being organized in the lead up to the next high-level political forum and the Asia-Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, both in 2019, we underscored that the current trade regime and the political order must be supportive to the core essence of SDGs. Bangladesh has been a victim of climate change. The country also suffers from the problems of others. It is increasingly becoming a major challenge for the country to maintain over 1 million Rohingya people. SDGs demand a just and fair global and regional order, to say the least, if we want to live up to our commitment. Mr. Moderator, as I conclude, I take the opportunity to reinforce that a sustained and fair partnership approach at different levels, from regional to global, could play an important role in sustaining the momentum for the Agenda 2030. We should also demonstrate our strong commitment to the fact that every individual has a right to have a decent life, and we cannot afford to retreat from this commitment. Leaving no one behind should not continue as a mere political and developmental slogan, but it must create a true appeal to all of us. People living in poverty in all countries always look to the outcomes of our meetings and gatherings. I sincerely hope this meeting will contribute to graduating the poor people from the grip of poverty and the host of structural injustices. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. May our dreams come true.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Mizanur Rahman, for highlighting why SDG is important for all, but particularly for countries like Bangladesh, and also institutional mechanism. We have heard this is coming from two countries already. The PM is already taking the lead role in all these two countries, both Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and mapping the role of each ministry and the importance of the the strong, and you said it, sustained and fair partnership of all, not only within the country, the international dimension of it. So thank you very much for that. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Sonam Soki, Program Coordinator, Development Cooperation Division, Gross National Happiness Commission, Bhutan. You have the floor, Madam.
Good morning, Excellencies, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Wish you a very good morning. I, on behalf of the Royal Government of Bhutan, would like to present the VNR of Bhutan. Bhutan presented the VNR report in July this year at the HLPF, and Bhutan's voluntary national report is titled Sustainable Development Report. The report is available online on GNHC's website. Given the successful implementation of our socio-economic development plans over the last 5.5 decades, Bhutan has met the GNI and the Human Asset Index threshold for LDC graduation consecutively during the CTP triennial review in March 2015 and March 2018. However, Bhutan is still yet to meet the Economic Vulnerability Index threshold. Following the HLPF 2018, upon the CDP's recommendation, the United Nations has approved 3 + 2 years transition period for Bhutan, which aligns with the 12th five-year plan of the government. We still face challenges in the areas of poverty at the regional level. Although we have low level of unemployment at the national level, our youth unemployment are rising concerned at 13%. Our huge dependency on hydropower and its impact, vulnerable impact of climate change are our main challenges right now. And the last mile challenges in health and education, like any Southeast Asian region countries, remain for Bhutan as well. Accordingly, our 12th five-year plan, which has commenced 2018 and will end in 2023, has been formulated to ensure a smooth and sustainable LDC graduation and to leave no one behind. The integration of SDGs into the national planning framework has been fairly a seamless process for the government of Bhutan, as both SDG and our development philosophy of GNH advocate Bhutan and planning-centric as the core of development strategy. There is a high level of SDG integration in our national planning framework due to a strong institutional arrangement put in place for SDG implementation. GNH